moving like the speed of sound, like a bullet train.
Today is moving day. We got the sump here. We're moving this Doge. This would be my new filtration. She's like a vacuum, so she likes to eat everything. So I figure she'll be good for the fish waste. Probably can get rid of my skimmer. Let's see here. We got the tank, 75-gallon tank. Baffles are in. I did the leak test. Y'all saw that.
Flashback.
All right, guys, let's see if I break this tank by drilling it. I'm gonna drill 3 holes, roughly there. And I've never drilled a tank before, so this is not a how-to video. This is a let's see video. Pre-job lines. It's not tempered.
Oh. Didn't you say you wanted it tempered?
No, you don't want it tempered.
Oh.
If it was tempered, we would have knew because it would have shattered and we would have been very scared.
Oh.
Alright, so I'm going to do that a couple more times. So the 75-gallon tank is drilled. We got the 3 bulkheads here. Didn't break anything. So we'll have, let's be the primary drain coming from the main display. This will be the secondary. The emergency will come up over the top. I think I'll cut out a piece of acrylic and put a bulkhead in there just to make it look a little bit neater. And the reason why I'm doing it that way is so if the emergency is activated, it will create a ton of sound. And then this third one will be for the mystery build that I have. Then we got the baffles installed. I had to cover up those 2 holes. Pretty easy to do. Use some silicone over here. This is what I use, just the stuff you could pick up from Home Depot. I don't know why it's Depot, it's Depot. Overall, I went with just 1 big chamber of the Clear Sea first, followed by my skimmer. I'm never gonna run a refugium, so it's either gonna be an algae scrubber or a Chaeto reactor. So that's why I don't have this. If I needed another chamber, I could just put some egg crate there and be done with it. Then we have an over, under, over in the return area, and then enough to hold the pump there. I'll also add some dosing lines and I don't know, some other stuff. You can see me in there. It's pretty weird. Got a whole bunch of shit in the background. Finished my tattoo as well. Anyways, now I need to go ahead and fill this up, do a leak test. That's why I have this little snorkel set up here. I'm gonna fill it to those other bulkheads and I'll test that for a little bit. Yeah, not much to it. We'll fill it up, see if it leaks. All right, so we got this working now. No leaks, I didn't even have to tighten them up. Nothing coming out of the silicone. The holes on the bottom have been good for over a day now, so I'm gonna go ahead and blindly trust it. Once again, thanks to Kevin. Thank you, Kevin, for being the only useful person.
End of flashback.
Everything is good. Originally, I put these in backwards, as in the gasket was on the wrong side and it was facing the wrong way. Fixed that, no more leaks in terms of the bulkheads. Nothing else leaked. My baffles aren't perfect. A little bit of the water will leak out of this section, the kind of in-between section, the limbo zone, and that will leak into the main chamber here. But nothing major. They're just baffles. They're there for a simple purpose. The squares there, none of those leaked. So all good, ready to put it on the tank now. So we'll walk through some of the plan. I got a couple of my pieces here. The plan here is I'll start taking everything off, of course, get everything out of the sump, and then We're gonna keep everything above the gate valves. Everything above there will be kept. And then these 3 connectors on the bottom of the gate valve will be replaced. And then we'll be putting new piping to go to the bulkheads on the 75-gallon sump. None of this should be able to, or should need to be removed. It's all the right height. I should have about a little over an inch of clearance. So it'll be perfect there. All I need to do is cut it right about here, put a coupler, extend it, and should be good to go right there. Then the return line, that's the right height, so that's okay. I'm going to be putting the CO2 chamber on the other side. The Skimmer, I think I'm just going to lift that up and put it up higher. And then the calcium reactor, I think I'm going to leave it external, but I'll just have to see how it plays out. Hopefully everything is good and I have enough space. We'll see if I planned everything accordingly, but really it's just a matter of time. That's all it's going to take. Shouldn't be too difficult. Once I drain all the water out, I need to make sure that I measure all of the water that's coming out, because right now I know exactly from my very first fill up that this system contains 200 gallons water volume, actual water volume. And that's not a guess, that's an actual measurement. So I don't want to guess in the future, because knowing your exact water volume helps with any dosing that you may need to do. So I need to make sure I'm measuring the water that's coming out, and then I'll measure, of course, what I'm putting back in, and it will add in addition to the 200 gallons right now. I think in the end, I'll maybe add another 15 to 20 gallons water volume. We'll see what it comes out to. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna save you all the boring bits, do everything, maybe show a couple clips here and there, and I'll show you what happens at the end. Okay guys, figured this is enough of a milestone to begin filming again. So the water is all drained now. I drained 30 gallons from the sump here. So we're gonna keep that in mind when we go and fill stuff back up, just so we can get what the new water volume is gonna be past that 30 gallons. Media I put in here, just so of course it can stay cycled. And the next step, I'll show you kind of the workspace. We've got the return pump here, vacuum, drill. This is just holding all my crap. Let's see, we got Ruby over there looking beautiful. The Chiefs are about to go to the Super Bowl, so that's cool. I don't really care one way or another, but it's probably the first year where I don't actually care who wins the Super Bowl anymore, because there's not a team left that I hate enough to cheer against. So good year. Let's see. Next, I just got to start taking the plumbing apart. So I'll take off those unions, and then I'll slide out the sump. The Skimmer, put it up here. I actually really like it up higher. It's just out of the way, and that's really it. So that's where I'm at right now. It's been, I don't know, I started before the second half here, so they got like 7 minutes left in that game. Am I gonna get copyright because I'm showing the game? Oh shit. Okay, so everything's still a mess. We got the rat's nest open, and figured while I had everything kind of gone out of the way, I would go ahead and clean up the wiring. So I think that's all the wires that I can actually move out of the way. There's one more extension in there that maybe I can get out of the way, but as far as everything that's plugged in the back of the tank, that should be good. The rest is just probes, and then I went ahead and cleaned up some of the stuff back here. And I can't even get my phone back here, but yeah, instead of it all being on the ground, I got it mounted up to the side here, which is some sticky pads, and then I put some super glue on the back. So it's just these command strips, and then you super glue the back of them so they actually stick. Anyways, so still got a little ways to go before I fill up the new sump and start plumbing it. All right, it's an absolute mess in here on my workspace. It's like 10:30 now, so 10:45. So this is like a good, what, 8 hours? Nah, 7? And just around 10. This is all nice and cleaned up now. Show you that in a bit. I'm about to turn this on. Everything's plumbed up. I have a pretty good suspicion something's gonna leak, so we're gonna find out. Why do I think something's gonna leak? Because something always leaks, so why not? Okay, the return pump is on. Level's a little low. I think I'm out of water. But looking at the drain, I don't think I see anything to be concerned about. Let's check. Nope. I think we're all good. Alright. Alright, so it's been about 4 weeks. My last shot for this video was on January 19th, so it is, when was it? February 15th right now. The sump, of course, is in, as you can see. Everything went to plan. We saw there were no leaks. So just give you a couple updates. Overall, I added 30 gallons of water volume to the system. I was sitting at 200 gallons before, and now I'm sitting at 230. So the 230 gallon tank is now an actual 230 gallon system. The water height here is about 10 inches up, I believe. And then this chamber is 9 inches. We have the copper band butterfly just kind of hanging out in here for a little while. I had some Aptasia in there. He was in the holding tank over here, the temporary tank. It's looking great, huh? And yeah, so I saw some Aptasia in here. Decided to check out if he was gonna eat some Aptasia. It was actually growing on the glass in a couple spots here, so he took care of that. Other than that, over the past couple weeks, I've really been liking this setup. It's much easier. It's just cleaner looking overall. I know some of my silicone work is really bad, but it's more open. The skimmer section here is also helping to vent out into the pond matrix right there. I just have in a little homemade egg crate piece. That's a gallon of pond matrix. I'll need to work on the Clarity, just the mount here. It should go down a little bit more, and the pump isn't even touching the ground, the bottom of the tank there. Another thing, this sump overall is much more quiet. I don't hear as much at all from this. It's made the pH much more stable as well. Also the temperature, things are much more stable with the larger water volume in here. For the pH probe, I just have that kind of sitting in here, right there. I didn't put it back on the calcium reactor because I don't need it right now. I mean, there's really no uptake. And I'm actually having a weird scenario where I am not dosing anything for alkalinity, but the alkalinity has been rising. It doesn't make any sense. My alkalinity is at 13 right now. It's stupid. The skimmer, I hate this skimmer. It just loses its tune way too often. It's way too sensitive. It's oversensitive. And this Skimz piece, that little nozzle right there, that thing's useless. I mean, they shouldn't have that on there. So that controls the airflow, and it gets clogged over time. It gets salt creep on it, and it gets just disgusting. And that restricts the flow, making the skimmer go crazy. Just overall really bad design. It's just not doing what I needed to. So I have another skimmer on the way. Hopefully that comes next week. The other piece I modified, I think this was just actually last week that I did.
Flashback.
All right, let's talk about some stuff that I've done today. Today, I made this little handy rack here, egg crate, and then have the pinky filter. I have like 2 pieces kind of side by side in there right now, and then this one I cut over the top. That way it goes the whole length, and I got a bunch more cut up. I did that because this was getting all the hair algae all over it, so I could wash that. This was also getting hair algae all over it, so I took care of that as well. Skimmer, clean that neck a little bit. And then I also put in some fresh carbon. I put in a mix of the big particles and the ROX. And got rid of the old crap for the Clarice. And then, since my par ratings came out pretty low, I went ahead and dropped the light fixture down 1 inch. And then I took off the acrylic cover here, and it was really dusty on the inside. So I should probably take that off more than once a year and clean it, just at least wipe it down. But yeah, so that's clean. And then I also cleaned off the screen tops. Those like to accumulate a lot of salt creep on them. So those are all cleaned. And I also went ahead and turned this to 70% and this to 70%. So we will see how that works out. This guy got remounted and it's not dead. I'm pretty surprised. Spent about 4 days down in the sand. Duncan's looking good. Birds looking good. And I also got the Setosa remounted. So, you think that's too many changes, Dwight?
End of flashback.
Is I put that's 2 pieces of PVC. I think those are about 6 inches up, and then just some egg crate. This worked out perfect, so it was just 3 of those squares. I could cut it perfect, and then I have some pinky filter to just run that as well. I started this because the hair algae there that I had in the display started to detach, and it was really covering that pump way more. It looks more like this one over here, which I need to just clean off. So got that in there, super easy. What else do we have? Really, there's not much to this. I'm just really enjoying how much more open it is. It's actually easier to do my testing. You can see my hands doing all kinds of weird shit in the tank. You can see the time. Anyways, so I don't know what else, what more there is. Oh, the bullshit collector. So Angry Owl bullshit collector. This has been reimagined, recreated, and it's awesome. So if you guys want one, I can make you one for, I don't know, $100. All it is plastic container, of course. You drill a hole for that little bulkhead. That's 1/2 inch tubing in there. This piece in the center, the blue pill bottle, which came with a white cap, but I painted it black because it looks better. There's carbon in there, so when the air needs to vent through, you're not smelling nasty skimmate coming through there. And then I have a float valve, which goes to the breakout box on Apex. So when that fills up, it will shut the skimmer down, and it will also turn off the ATO, and then I'll get alerts the entire time. So I can always go back and manually turn on the ATO. The reason why I chose to turn the ATO off is because it will start the alarm. So it will do the high alarm on the Tunze there. All right, guys, I think that's really it. As far as this installation, everything went well. One other thing, I don't know if I showed this earlier, so I'll just show it now. I might cut this if it doesn't work out, but this is much more organized in here now. So I know it still looks a little bit crazy, but this is much better than it was before. I had shit all over the place. There was stuff all over the ground, so now there's just nothing. CO2 tank ready for installation when I put the calcium reactor back on, but no rush here. I'm just dosing some Nopox right now. I might take that offline because I'm going to do something different here shortly. What I'm thinking about on this box, though, is actually taking it, so right now, think of it, it's vertical, attached to that wall, right? So just taking it off and turning it so it's horizontal, and then mounting all the stuff here to the actual wall, so it will be tucked away. there's about, I don't know, from here over 6 inches or more. So there's a good deal of space, and that would kind of eliminate all these cords popping out. If you look at it this way, I mean, you're losing all this space here to work. So I think that might be one of my next tasks when it comes to wire management. For all the stuff going through the tank, I just use some Velcro. This is a really good idea that I came up with. So you just take a screw, put it through the Velcro, and then put it on your stand. And then as you need to add stuff or take stuff away, you just detach the Velcro. So you don't need like the conduit or stuff like that. I looked at doing the conduit, but it's more difficult to get it to stick, and then the size that I needed just wasn't going to work out. It's going to end up looking uglier. So this is what it is, and I like it, so I don't really care what you think. Anyways, that's all I got, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. Upcoming videos, we can look for adding this guy, the tank. Just going to do a general update on kind of something I'm dealing with right now, which you can maybe tell in the video, which is cloudy water. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do to deal with that. Hopefully it actually works, but we'll find out. This is something I've never done before. Other than that, everything else is doing good in the tank. I need to do another update on my new method that I'm doing within the tank as far as dosing. I'll get that updated here within the next week. And some big changes are going to be coming to the flow and the lights, maybe within the next 45 days or so. So alright guys, with all that being said, I will catch you in the next one.